The morning had felt almost perfect to Leo Johnson. His Audi gleamed in the summer sun as he drove through Springfield, his favorite playlist filling the car. For once, things felt calm. As a 29-year-old graphic designer, he'd worked hard for every bit of success, and today, he allowed himself to feel proud. That peace shattered the moment flashing red and blue lights filled his rearview mirror. He pulled over smoothly. No speeding, no missed signals. There was no reason for a stop. Still, he lowered his window and waited, hoping it would be routine, that it wasn't. "Get out of the car, you damn ape." Officer Davis's voice exploded with venom before Leo could respond. A punch smashed into his face, cracking a tooth from his gum. Blood filled his mouth as he dropped to the pavement. Unseen, a silent witness recorded everything. A streetlight camera angled just right. Leo lay stunned, the world tilting. He hadn't even asked why he'd been pulled over. A morning commute had turned into a nightmare, and all he had done was exist in black skin behind the wheel of an Audi. "You steal this car?" Davis barked, looming. "No, sir," Leo rasped. "I'm a designer. The papers are in the—" "Don't move," Davis shouted, already drawing his weapon. Leo froze. "Hands on the hood," came the next order. Trembling, Leo obeyed. Another blow landed. Then came the handcuffs. His tooth skidded across the pavement. He wanted to scream, to ask why, but fear gripped his throat. Somewhere inside the Audi, the music kept playing softly, lyrics about dreams and love bleeding into the brutality of his reality. A second officer arrived, barely glancing at Leo's bruised face. "He resisting?" "Nah, just being uppity," Davis said. "Car's probably stolen," the second officer muttered. "Black guy, new Audi. What else is new?" "My name is Leo Johnson," he said weakly. "The car is mine." The title's in the glove, a boot connected with his ribs. He choked on the blood and words. "You don't speak unless spoken to," Davis growled. "You don't have rights." "Not here." Leo remembered his mother's warnings, his father's tired voice. Here, being black can kill you. And now here he was on a sidewalk, bleeding, brutalized for fitting someone else's twisted idea of a criminal. Davis clicked his radio. Possible stolen vehicle. Suspect is African American. White shirt, jeans, resisted arrest. "Do you have proof?" the dispatcher asked. "Reasonable suspicion. Black male. Audi. That's all I need." There was the real charge. Hours later, Leo sat in a precinct, still cuffed, still bleeding. A desk officer filled out forms. Name, Leo Mallet Johnson. Profession, graphic designer. The officer blinked. Seriously? Leo didn't answer. His lip was too swollen, his energy spent. A door opened. Davis strolled in, laughing with another officer. He walked past Leo like nothing had happened. No remorse, no shame. "Car's clean," someone announced. "Registered to Johnson." Silence. The desk officer didn't flinch. "You're free to go." Leo stared. "That's it? No charges? No report? But he hit me. I didn't do anything. You didn't comply. That's how it looks." Leo stood slowly, wincing as his muscles screamed in protest. Davis was watching him from the corner, smiling. "Watch the teeth you have left, champ," he said. Leo turned away without a word. "AKT home." He locked the door and walked to the bathroom. What stared back at him in the mirror didn't look like the man who'd left that morning. Blood, swelling, a missing tooth. A stranger. He wasn't angry anymore. He was hollow, and he was done being quiet. Later that night, his younger brother, Sam, watched the footage from the street camera. It had somehow made it into a whistleblower's hands. The punch, the slurs, the kicks, it was all there, undeniable. This changes everything," Sam whispered. Leo didn't respond. He was staring at the screen, not at the violence, but at the moment right before it, the second before Davis swung. The officer's face was tight with something deeper than anger. Hate and confidence. Confidence that no one would ever hold him accountable. But this time, someone had watched. And this time, Leo wasn't going to disappear. He turned to Sam. "Post it everywhere." "But what if I said post it?" Within hours, the video was online, then trending, then exploding. Hashtags, outrage demands. The mayor issued a statement. The department promised an internal investigation. News crews gathered outside Leo's building. In the shadows of the city, Officer Davis stood by his cruiser, watching the story unfold. He chewed his gum, stared at his phone, and cursed under his breath. The next morning, Leo received a letter shoved under his door. No return address. It simply read, "You should have kept your mouth shut. This isn't over." Leo closed his eyes, his heart pounding, but not with fear. This time it beat with something else entirely. Something coming. Something inevitable. The day the verdict came down, the air in the courtroom was heavy, expectant. Leo Johnson sat still, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. Across from him, Officer Mark Davis sat stone-faced, no longer in uniform. His badge had been suspended, his public image destroyed, but the legal outcome still hung in the balance. The judge cleared his throat. After reviewing all presented evidence, including unedited surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony, and expert analysis, this court finds Officer Thomas Davis guilty of excessive use of force, racially motivated misconduct, and obstruction of justice. Gasps echoed. Some wept. Maya Rhodes placed a steady hand on Leo's arm. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years of probation, stripped of his law enforcement license, and ordered to pay restitution. A permanent criminal record will reflect this conviction. It wasn't the decades behind bars some had hoped for, but it was a first, and it was public. Leo stood when asked if he wanted to address the court. He nodded, cleared his throat, and walked to the podium. "I should be dead," he began. The courtroom was silent. When he raised his fist and called me an ape, I thought for a second I wouldn't make it, that the pavement would be the last thing I ever felt. Not because I broke a law, but because I didn't look right driving a car I worked for. He paused. My life didn't matter to him, but matters now, because I refused to stay quiet, because people saw the truth, because you saw it too. Then he turned to Officer Davis, locking eyes. "I don't forgive you. Not yet. Not because I'm angry, though I am, but because I still wake up from nightmares with your voice in my ears. But I promise you this. I will heal, and I will spend my life making sure men like you can't hide behind a badge again." As he stepped down, the room rose in quiet applause. In the weeks that followed, Leo's case sparked national conversations. Civil rights attorneys cited it in state house debates. Lawmakers introduced new legislation, body cam enforcement laws, anti-racial profiling measures. His name became more than a hashtag. It became a turning point. Leo received thousands of messages, some angry, some supportive. One note, handwritten by a grandmother in Alabama, read, "You stood for my grandson. Thank you." He replied to every letter he could. Each word was a step toward healing. One evening, Maya sat beside him on the steps of the courthouse, watching the sun dip behind the skyline. "You changed something," she said. "I still lost a tooth," he said dryly. "You gained a movement." He smiled faintly, eyes tired but warmed. A month later, Leo posted another video. This time the lighting was perfect, his voice was clear, and the setting calm, a stark contrast to the shaky, raw footage of his first viral video. "My name is Leo Johnson," he began again the same way. "And now I know I'm not alone." He recapped the story briefly, then leaned forward. "This isn't just about me. It's about what it means to be told you don't belong, that your success is suspicious, that your life can be erased with one lie, one punch, one radio call." He showed photos of the courthouse steps packed with protesters, of children wearing shirts with his name, of lawmakers holding hearings sparked by his case. Then, the final image, his original tooth, still cracked, beside a note that read, "Truth has teeth." He ended the video with a promise. "For every person who thought their pain would go unheard, this is for you. For every mother who said goodbye to her son and prayed he'd come home, this is for you. I'm not a hero. I'm just someone who got tired of being afraid. And I know now that even the smallest voice can shake the system." The video closed with a slow fade to black. But the conversation had only just begun.